Today I'm installing the jet rack. So basically I've been trying to find storage solutions for all of my gear so I can keep the floor of my van clear for materials when it's needed. The last thing I need to find a home for is my ladders. So this jet rack basically allows me to store it up here and the ladders will just unhook. The jet rack comes as a kit, which is here, and you need to buy additionally a length of shallow uni-strut. This doesn't come with it, probably because it's a nightmare to deliver. The first thing you need to do is take your length of uni and cut it to suit the length of your van. You may have noticed that my van looks a little bit different now, and that's because I've had it professionally racked out by a company called DUCT Vans. We'll come back to this in a minute. So the first thing I done was I got my shallow uni-strut and I measured from the bulkhead to basically the end of the van, and this is how long you want to cut your uni-strut to also. Make sure you file the end of the uni-strut that you just cut. Next you want to take these two pieces here and bolt them together loosely. Use a bolt, spring washer, and then a nut on the inside. You should be able to move it around just like I'm showing you there. Next, take these two parts and do exactly the same thing. Bolt, spring washer, nut on the inside. Make sure you can move these two parts like I'm showing here once again. Next, you want to prepare the stoppers. This is a bolt, a spring, a washer, a square nut, and then the zebedee. Do this twice. Next, slide this piece on, just like that. On this part, you want to put another bolt through with a zeb. Do this twice as I'm showing you here. Next, sit this part within the uni-strut and give the zebs a bit of a twist to lock them in place, but make sure you keep this bracket loose. So it slides up and down the uni just like this. Install the stoppers at either end of the uni-strut. Keep these loose also so they can still slide about. And now it's time to fix it to the van roof. It's probably easier to get someone to give you a hand with this. I'll be honest, it was a bit of a pain doing this on my own. I just use self-tappers to fix it. You can use bolts, but the self-tappers seem to work just fine for me. Once you've got to this stage, it's time to install the bungees. Just before we install the bungees, you need to place this bracket above here, just where you want it, and this is just sort of like a bungee support. So the next part is to thread this bungee through this yellow bracket, through this little bracket, and through the rear bracket. When you buy the jet rack, it does come with instructions, but they're quite hard to follow. You also get a little QR code on a card that takes you to their YouTube page, and there's about 12 videos step by step on how to install this. I thought by making a whole video in one go, keeping this nice and simple, it might help you out. It was worth a go. Next it's time to get the steps, put them in place before we tighten all the brackets up. Because I like to be completely honest and transparent in my videos, at this point I realised that I set the whole thing up in the wrong place and it was all too far inside the van. So I moved all of the brackets so they were closer to the back end of the van. Once you're happy with the position of everything, it's time to get out the socket set, and you need to do up all the nuts and bolts everywhere. Here I'm just checking that everything is positioned to where I want it. What you're going to want to do now is get some tension on those bungees and then just tie them up and tuck them out of the way. Those stoppers we installed at the beginning, it's time to get them tightened up. This basically ensures that the jet rack stays in position and doesn't go too far back and too far forward. As you can see me testing here, just enough to unhook the steps. There's just a couple of more things to do. That middle bracket we installed, what you need is to use a bolt, a washer and a nut, and you want to fix that to the unistrut now. So they give you these little things to help with the tension, but I've done this up really tight and this is proving to be an absolute nightmare to put on, so I'm just going to leave them off. I don't think I need them. And finally, the jet rack is installed. This is what it looks like, and this is how easy it is to use. So that is how you install the jet rack. The first bracket closest to me that I've installed, I need to remove that a little bit because I'm not letting the ladders slide enough, but I'll adjust that another day. Thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel.